the Viking Age, a time of iron, ships and journeys. From the late 8th to the 11th century, Norse warriors, explorers and traders left an indelible mark on the world. These are famed explorers and raiders, amazing folk that shaped and reshaped Europe for hundreds of years, not just by raiding or being extraordinary mercenaries, but also seafarers that were ahead of their time. However, full-time warriors were rare amongst the Norse of old. Perhaps between 2 and 5% were full-time raiders or warriors, maybe even 10%, but then, what did the other 90% do? What did the average Norseman do every day? The Viking Age was so much more than just conquest and plunder. It was a time of rich culture, strong family bonds, and a deep reverence for the natural world. This is the story of a typical day in the life of a Viking, a glimpse into a world both familiar and strange. The sun rises over the fjords, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. The Vikings were skilled farmers, fishermen and craftsmen. Their survival depended on their ability to work the land, navigate the seas, and trade with neighboring communities. The vast majority of Norsemen farmed to one level or another. This included animal husbandry. Their day often began at dawn with farm work, which included ploughing fields, sowing seeds, and harvesting crops such as barley, oats, and rye. Fishing and hunting were also vitally important. The Vikings, known for their imposing size, ate a lot. They trained a lot and ate a lot of protein. Fishing was a crucial activity, especially for those living near coasts or rivers. Men often went out to sea or river early in the morning to catch fish. Hunting provided meat and furs and involved tracking and trapping animals like deer, boar, and seals. When we compare the Vikings to almost anywhere in Europe at that time, we are talking about some of the best fed and largest people of their age. Skilled craftsmen spent their days producing goods. Blacksmiths forged tools and weapons. Carpenters built and repaired structures and ships, while other artisans made textiles, pottery, and jewelry. Relics of the age are now seen in museums, and their craftsmanship is still revered. In coastal areas, shipbuilding was an important occupation. Men worked together to build the iconic Viking longships. Family was the cornerstone of Viking society. Homes were filled with not only immediate family, but also extended relatives, creating a strong sense of kinship and shared responsibility. Men shared domestic responsibilities with women. This included building and maintaining their homes, which were typically longhouses made of wood and turf. Children play a vital role in Viking society. From a young age, they are taught the skills and traditions of their people. Boys learn woodworking, farming, and combat skills from their fathers and uncles, while girls learn weaving, cooking, and childcare from their mothers and aunts. It is unproven as to how well-trained women were in combat skills, but it stands to reason that in some villages it made sense to have as many archers as possible for defense or for hunting. But that is for another video. Craftsmanship was passed from generation to generation, and one can imagine the father patiently explaining the different parts of a longship and the importance of using the right wood for each component to his son. In the evenings, families gathered around the hearth, the flickering firelight casting dancing shadows on the wooden walls. The day's work is done, and it's a time for stories, songs, and laughter. What about gods and giants in Norse lore? What about religion and spirituality in the Viking Age? The Vikings lived in a world imbued with spirits and supernatural beings. They believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each with their own distinct personalities and domains. Odin, the Allfather, was the god of wisdom, war, and death. Thor, the god of thunder, protected both gods and humans from giants and chaos. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, held dominion over magic and prophecy. Religious practices were an integral part of daily life. I'm currently making a series of Viking god videos, and the lore is endless. And what about when the work is done? What did they do for leisure and entertainment in Viking culture? Despite the hardships of their lives, the Vikings knew how to enjoy themselves. They were a boisterous and fun-loving people who appreciated good company, strong drink, and engaging competition. When the day's work was done, they gathered in the longhouse or around the communal fire, sharing stories, singing songs, and engaging in games of skill and chance. Storytelling was a revered art form. Skalds, skilled bards, traveled from village to village, entertaining audiences with epic tales of gods and heroes, love and loss, battles and voyages. Their words painted vivid pictures in the minds of their listeners, transporting them to distant lands and mythical realms. It is also important to remember that they lived in a harsh climate. Their summers and winters looked very differently. Life for the Vikings was deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature. The changing seasons dictated their work, their rituals, and their very survival. Spring was a time of renewal and rebirth, a time for sowing crops and tending to newborn livestock. Summer was a brief but glorious season of long days and short nights, a time for fishing, trading, and raiding. Autumn brought the harvest, a time of frantic activity as the Vikings gathered their crops and prepared for the coming winter. Winter was a time of darkness and cold, a time when the sea turned treacherous and the land lay dormant under a blanket of snow. The Norsemen would have smoked meat to preserve it for this harsh time. A long and fulfilling day, working outside with your hands and showing your children how to fish or farm or shoot a bow. An idyllic sort of life. Of course, there was no modern medicine, and I don't mean to be sentimental about that time, but aspects of the lifestyle certainly sound appealing to me. Like and subscribe for more. I have videos about the Viking Woman's Day today, or a group of Vikings that traveled thousands of miles and became the Emperor of Byzantine's personal guard. Plus, many more. Thanks for watching. This has been Harness Ancient Wisdom. The Viking Age may be long gone, but their legacy lives on. They were more than just fierce warriors and raiders. They were skilled craftsmen, explorers, traders, and storytellers.